In this video we're going to make a vertical mini propagation hanger. It's got these really cute little glass jars, and in each jar I just pop some little plant cuttings. It's quite cool to watch your plants get little roots before you can plant them in the garden, and they're really cute hanging in your window. In 2 or 3 weeks you can expect some little roots on some of your cuttings. I've got these little 3cm bamboo rings, and we're using 2mm hemp twine today. I've also got my cute little glass bottles, which are about 3.5 centimeters tall and about 1.5 centimeters wide. They also have a little groove around the top that's going to sit the twine in really nicely. To work out the length that you need for twine, I start out by measuring the window space. My window where I want to hang this planter is about 2 meters or 200 centimeters in height. So I'm using double that again, so 400 centimeters for the length of the twine. So I just measure that out and cut it off. It does use quite a bit of twine with the knots and wrapping around the bottles, so you do need that little bit extra as well. You also want to find a measurement for how far apart you're going to have your little bottles. I've got about 15 bottles that I want to use on one strand. I just divided 200, which is my window height, by 15, which is the amount of bottles I've got, and that's given me my measurement, which is 13 centimeters. So that's how much string I'm going to leave in between each glass bottle to have them all evenly placed throughout the whole 2 meter drop. I start my hangers from the bottom and I wrap them around one full loop and then knot it on the second loop around. Simple knot is just left over right and then right over left. Try and make sure you're being careful with the glass as well, just so you don't break any. Now that you've put your first jar on, you can measure out your 13 centimeters, or in my case it's 13 centimeters. Your measurement will probably be different. Then you want to just place the glass jar right on the 13 centimeter mark and just wrap around to the right. So wrap one whole loop around, and then on the second loop around you tie your knot. Tying your little simple knot there and pulling it gently tight. Holding this bottle on the 13 centimeter mark and wrapping it to the right ensures that each gap in between is going to be exactly the same. So if that's important to you, make sure you hold that bottle tight and wrap it to the right. So you just work your way along the twine, measuring out the 13 centimeters or your measurement in between your little glass jars, and then wrapping to the right and tying your little knots on the second loop around. If you're wondering too why I started at the bottom, I actually find that my glass bottles, if I start at the bottom, they hang the right way. For some reason, if I start at the top and hang them in the same way, they kind of want to hang upwards. It might be the way I tie my knots and then it pulls the bottles in a certain direction because they're so light. It's quite strange, so you might find you can go down. But I just find working from the bottom to the top, my glass bottles actually hang the right way, so they're hanging in a downwards direction. Another thing to think about is that you probably want to leave a little bit of twine on the top part, just because if you're going to hang it on a hook and then it's going to go down past some wall, past some window frame, and then end up on the window, it might sort of be 20 centimeters or something like that before it ends up on the window. You might just want to leave a little bit extra or not put a bottle there as well. These look really cool if there's 2 or 3 hanging next to each other in the window. You can put all different types of little cuttings in there. It's quite cool to see which ones grow roots. Holding it onto the 13 centimeters and then wrapping it around to the right, and then doing a double knot on there just to make sure it's nice and secure. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap all 15 of our little glass bottles. Now at the top here you can leave your little space if you want to have some extra on the top there with no bottles. Once you've gone up as far as you want with your little glass bottles, you can attach a little ring or tie it in a knot to finish it off on this top end. Attach a little wooden ring or something. If you don't have one, just tie the string in a knot and then you can hook it over something. So I just tie that on as well. Then you can hang it in the window somewhere, fill them up with water and tuck your cuttings in. I found it was easier to actually syringe the water into the little bottles once they were hanging up. This is an idea of the little cuttings I put in mine. Just little bits of ferns and succulents, a string of pearls and few different ones just to see what grows. Now you can pop your little cuttings in and some water and hang it in the window and enjoy it.